my talk. Here we go. How he said he living life as a gringo, where you question where you fit and every time you mingle. They say you do this with not enough that. My rapping is really bad. This life as a gringo.
Yes, hello and welcome to another episode of Life as a Gringo. I am Dramos, of course. It is Thursday, so it means it's time for our Thursday Trends episode. And my guest today is Family. She is the host of the Cultura in Recovery podcast. She is a certified life coach. The homie, Bren J. How you feeling?
Dude, I'm bursting with fucking energy. I get better every time I get off show with you.
I like it. I like it. We're gonna talk about a lot of interesting things today. For the most part, we're gonna keep it light. There is one heavier story that we will dabble into, but you know, when trying to stay up on all that's going on in the community, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, right? But we'll touch on a few things on today's show that I want to get your take on. Bad Bunny has a couple headlines going on right now that we're going to dive into. One of them is in regards to an ex that is suing him. The other one is in regards to him taking shots at his latest love interest ex. And you are our Cultura in Recovery, so this seems right down your alley over here. And then, man, on a heavier side of things, very sad. There was another soldier who has allegedly committed suicide after there was alleged harassment at Fort Hood in Texas, which, if you remember, is the same base that Vanessa Guillen was stationed at, where she also experienced harassment before her sad, untimely murder. So we'll talk about that. And then on a positive side of things, we'll talk about somebody from our community who's doing some positive things in our Mi Gente segment. We're going to talk about you and this event that you are putting on. So a lot to get into on today's show. Let's just first and foremost dive into some of the nonsense, the heavier stuff, in a segment we call For the People in the Back.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
All right, so let's start on a lighter note, and then we'll work our way up to the heavier story of the show. But let's talk about Bad Bunny, which is a reoccurring theme here on the podcast. Now, Bad Bunny is in the news because he's actually being sued by his ex-girlfriend for $40 million because apparently he used her voice recordings in two of his songs. One of them is 2016, and the other one is Para Ti. And she is claiming that this is an attack of privacy that led her to seek psychological help. Okay. That sounds a little extra to me. It feels like a money grab, but listen, who am I to judge? Your thoughts on the ex getting mad about him using some voice recordings of her?
Okay, just to put this clear, y'all, I've been busy, so I haven't been keeping up with headlines. But
sure.
Right off the back, I think, like, what kind of voice recordings, right? Is it something like sexual that was supposed to be private? Or is it like something that is like you're fucking around? You know, you take Instagram videos with your friends when you guys are drunk, like, you know?
Right.
I think that's the difference. I think if it were to be something that she thought was private, 40 million for your privacy out there, fuck it. If you can afford it, whatever, right? But on the other hand, if it was something and you're just trying to get the money, it's like, dude, I'm reading this book called Happy Money, or listening to a book called Happy Money. Like, if you get money in that way, you're usually, that shit's going to be gone. Like, the universe is going to be like, only when you receive happy money. So that's my good side now. But my toxic side will be like,
yeah.
Well, what was it? And with what intention?
Yeah, see, I'm looking as we're going, I'm looking for like a direct quote of the voice note that he used. I love that song, 2026, and I've never heard the voice. I never noticed the voice note like that. So it's not something that to me stands out in the record, right? And the song is actually about how he was planning on actually marrying her back then at that point in 2016. So it's a personal song. He used a personal antidote in it. the irony is that actually since then she's become an attorney herself. So she actually became a lawyer and now feels like she has a case. And I don't know. I mean, listen, $40 million to this man, I don't think is that big of a deal. But it does feel a little petty at this point. I don't think he's sharing anything crazy. Again, I didn't even notice that there were voice notes, and I was just listening to this song yesterday. So I don't know. I would kind of let it go. And I feel like also if like a lot of the times they'll make a case of like, oh, well, it's like an invasion of my privacy. Now people are like knowing about my intimate personal things. Like, I don't think the majority of the people would have known who the hell he was talking about until she came out publicly and started suing him. So I kind of just like, who cares? But also at the end of the day, listen, if you can get the money, I guess, hey, more power to you at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, Bad Bunny is also, this is the second headline, which is a little bit spicier than that one, right? So we've all heard about Bad Bunny and Kendall Jenner, like this romance that's been going on. Everybody's been making memes about it. And a lot of people have had, feelings about it. They felt some type of way about him dating a Kardashian, right? Now, he did a verse on a song, and it's called Coco Chanel. And apparently in the verse, he's now firing shots at Kendall Jenner's ex-boyfriend, who is a basketball player for the Phoenix Suns, named Devin Booker, right? And in the song, he even makes a reference to Kendall Jenner. They're saying with the lyric that, quote, Scorpio women are dangerous. Kendall Jenner is a Scorpio. And then he also raps, quote, I'm not bad, baby, that's a gimmick. But the sun in Puerto Rico is hotter than in Phoenix. She knows it. And people are saying that this was a direct shot. Her ex, Devin Booker, replied via social media, then deleted it. Something about Benito liking men or something. There was he deleted that response, and they're saying that an anonymous source is saying that, quote, it seems like things might have taken a turn for the worse. Sources reveal that she's been left mortified after her new fling released some not so nice lyrics about her ex-boyfriend, whom she recently ended a long-term relationship with. They're saying that she had no idea about the verse and reportedly feels, quote, used and betrayed by the whole situation. They apparently had some holiday plans that were also cut short. And they're saying that this might have been a result of him taking that shot. All right. So this is your wheelhouse, Toxica in recovery. Are you okay with this? Is it toxic? What's your thoughts when you hear this?
Is what toxic? Is her being like, I'm done with it? Or is him like doing it in the first place?
Yeah, him taking shots at an ex in a public manner and not even like getting her okay about it, I guess.
Oh, hold on. Because it's just like, I feel like that's what an artist does. Like,
right.
Rappers, like you take shots at shit, right? And that's the funny part. Like, not the funny part in a bad way. I mean, he's not saying he's gonna kill the dude, whatever. He's making fun of his new girl's ex, right?
Right.
Like, you would have to really be a recovered toxico or toxica to be like, you never done that shit. You've done it. You just haven't you don't get paid to do it, right? So it hasn't been put in a public forum. Like, the guy could have responded with something else that was more like a comeback too, and fuck it, like in the toxica side of me. But again, like, I go back to the intention part. Like, what if he was just like, oh, fuck it, like, I like her, whatever, I'm gonna try and impress her with this lyric because that's what they do. It's their art. That's how they express themselves, right? I assume.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. She could have took it as a love gesture. The toxic on me said it was a love gesture.
That's how you would take it? See, that is, but you know what though? It's tough because it is their art, and I think that when you are dating an artist, there has to be a part of you that understands your personal life probably will make it at some point into their art. And it feels like just a silly, like, funny line, you know what I mean? Like, that isn't anything too serious. But at the same time, I don't think it's a good sign when the person you're currently dating is concerned about an ex. You know what I mean? Like, they might have some unresolved issues there. And that's, I think, the toxica or toxico part of this conversation, when like that's something that would even be top of mind.
That's very, very true. And so, yeah, I think my response is that was the toxica reasoning for it. But
Right.
me now, like, of course, I wouldn't want to be, if I'm trying to be serious, I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with someone that is willing to, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think I've been with my husband, I think we've been married 5 years now. And I've never
Yeah.
once looked at his phone because, like you
Mhm.
said, there's no reason for me to be like, I have no concerns, no doubt, no nothing. And it came up once when we were first dating, and I was like, if I ever feel the need to do this, that's some toxica shit. Been there, done that. I ain't trying to go there. If I feel jealous, if I feel anything, I'm gonna let you know. I'm not just gonna
Right.
start looking through your shit. I was like, because I
Right.
never again, because the toxica looks through the phones, right? Like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to put it another way, in a nice way. But like, if
Sure.
you're constantly looking through somebody's shit, you don't want that. That's not safe. That's not, you don't feel safety, right? So it might
Yeah.
just be on some childish shit, but it also might just be on like some, you're not healed there yet, because that's
Right.
why. And I think that's why I like the toxic and recovery part, because I'm not saying that that's bad and I'm putting judgment on you. I did that because I saw that. I
Mhm.
thought that that was normal, you know? And then TV shows also have the girls doing that shit too, right? So I was like, oh, well, this is what you do when you love someone. You make sure they're not cheating on you,
Right.
you
Right.
know? So yeah,
Yeah.
the full circle. That's my take on it.
I mean, we all have toxic behavior to a degree, right? But yeah, I mean, it's tough because they're not normal people. In normal circumstances, if it was like I was dating somebody and they were like taking subliminals via like Instagram stories at like an ex, I would kind of be like, all right, I should probably run for the hills at this point, because that's not safe. Do you remember any of you when you were full-time toxica? Do you remember any toxic behaviors that you would like to admit to here?
Oh my God. Legally? No, I'm just kidding. Legally? No. No, I did a lot of crazy shit. I definitely broke phones. I definitely
Like broke the other person's phone.
yeah. I
Wow.
definitely this is embarrassing as fuck. And I can't believe I'm admitting it. But I'm admitting it because I know somewhere out there's someone who's probably still doing it.
Yeah.
And you can go from that anxious, crazy feeling that you have to feeling safe and never, like, now I think about it and I feel a little embarrassed, but at the same time I feel like, again, I saw it, like
Yeah.
chasing a dude down in a car, like he's
But like
going,
he's running
yeah,
and you're
yeah,
driving the vehicle
no,
toward.
like two vehicles, like two vehicles.
Oh, he's in a car and you're driving after him.
Yes, that has
Wow.
happened.
And what were you trying to accomplish in that moment?
Because of I had just found out like some really fucked up stuff about how he cheated on me.
Sure.
And I was so like worked up. Mind you guys, at this point I'm probably like 18.
Mm-hmm.
So don't like judge me hard
Fair
right
enough.
now, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing, and this is why I'm thank you for having this conversation, because I feel like people
yeah.
don't talk about when you were in the toxica and how kind of really fucked up it is. I
Yeah.
was 18, and another podcast will be coming out soon about how that situationship happened. But point
Yeah.
is, it wasn't a normal relationship. It was a situationship. I was an 18-year-old girl with a 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 20, 24-year-old man.
Sure.
Two different stages, okay?
Right.
So there's a long
Right.
story behind that. But yeah, I got so desperate of like wanting this person to tell me like what I had done to deserve to get cheated on, like how
Yeah.
like it was really emotional for an 18-year-old girl, right?
Right.
And so yeah, I've done the car chase scene. I watched too much Fast and the Furious. That's what happened. I grew up with that shit. I was over there thinking I was Letty and shit. um the breaking of the phones, the like, making the fake account to check the other account,
Mm.
like,
Wait,
ooh,
so my thing is, okay, so in that situation, you found out this person was doing shady shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what about moving forward? Like, did that experience then did that lead you towards not trusting anybody? So even if you were dating a dude who wasn't fucking around, you still were doing toxic things because of that trauma that you had?
Actually,
they were always fucking around.
So see, what happened is that I met this person when I was 15. Yeah. So the experience went on, and I didn't really date much anyone else. Like, I was really like in this brainwashed ass situation, right?
Gotcha.
So for me, it wasn't like a normal situation. It was a little different, but
But like when you got with your husband, like how do you not? You at that point? So
that's what happened after that situationship ended. I was like, I'm not gonna jump in another relationship. I was single for almost a year, and I started like really trying to work on me and establishing what did not work about that, what had changed within me, and what I wanted moving forward. Like I knew I didn't know who, what, how, but I knew I wanted safety. I wanted to feel safe. Dude, when I used to because this situation, like, it was really fucked up. So I would be like just grabbing my phone and I would get like messages from other girls or whatever. And like my stomach was like, I would end up in the hospital so much because my like digestive system was just so fucked up from all the stress I was always in. So with my husband, it was just kind of from the get. Like, I was just like, this is what it is. Like, I'm a faithful, loyal ass person. You know, I've been through a lot of shit. So I am in recovery. I got daddy issues. I laid out all the cards on the table. I got daddy issues. I got all the things, but I'm working on me, and I want this. Like, I want safety. I want love and communication, connection, you know, like, and just from there, like, from just making that decision, I was like, okay, like, I never want to go through that. I never want my kids to see their parents like that. So I was like, yep.
So you kicked it at that point. So you kind of like gave up that whatever, looking through phones at that point. It was, see, that's good though, because I think you set in intention, right? Because I think like you can't like just sort of brush off like, you know, oh well, I have bad experiences, so that's why I'm like this. So like take it or leave it type of shit, you know. Or you can't blame it on anybody else, right? Like, because that's all internal insecurities, regardless. If the person you're dating makes you feel that way, you probably shouldn't be with them, right? But like, again, that's all on you at that point to make that decision for yourself and to set that intention. Like, this is not who I want to be. And again, if anybody I date makes me feel that way and I start going back towards that toxic version of myself, then I need to run for the hills at that point, because it's not the right situation. Right situation for me. And I know that was a very deep way to talk about this bad buddy thing. But I'm gonna ask people what any toxic stories that they have for the Ask a Gringo segment. But yeah, I don't know. Just relationships are tough, and I oftentimes think that like it's easy to blame other people for like our own insecurities when we have to just recognize, like, if I'm feeling insecure, that's pretty much just on me, especially if the person is not doing anything, right? And even if they are, it's on me to move on from that situation and not continue feeling that way, you know?
Yep, absolutely. Taking responsibility. I'm telling you, that's why it's in recovery, because when I think, like, I've never gone to an AA meeting, but I think when you first show up, it's like, I take responsibility that I am an alcoholic, right? It's the same thing with Toxica and recovery. I take responsibility that I am Toxica, but I don't want this going forward.
Sure.
You know, and it sounds simple, but it's not. It's simple, but it's not easy. Like, that's the conversation we always have. Like, it's simple, but not easy.
No, absolutely. Well, also, I think I've never been to an AA meeting either, but I think, like, from what I've heard of when people speak about those things is, like, you also have to accept that it's going to be an ongoing thing for the rest of your life, right? Like, you're never, for like somebody who, let's say, who might be an alcoholic, they're never going to be the type of person who can say like, okay, I can have one beer and then that's it, right? Because that just opens up Pandora's box for them. So I think it's the same thing with when you're trying to break any bad habit or anything like that. The moment that you decide like, okay, this one time I'm going to break into their phone and check it, like, you've already undone so much of that work and that trust that you had in that person. And like, you're allowing the insecurity to kind of take over you at that point? I mean, that might be a overcomplicated explanation, but to me, that's what makes sense.
No, I bet you that made sense to somebody. Somebody was like, "Oh, ding,
Yeah.
got it." Yep, but
Right.
exactly, it's deciding that shit.
Exactly. All right. So now on a more serious topic today that I wanted to touch on. Fort Hood, the military base in Texas, is back in the news, and that again is where Vanessa Guillen was last seen. She was murdered, and prior to her murder, had expressed harassment. Being harassed by other soldiers there on the base. And there's been all kinds of investigations into it. Now there is a woman who has allegedly committed suicide. Her name is Anna Basal. I think it's Basaldua, and now, after her suicide, friends are speaking out, saying that she actually experienced harassment during her time at Fort Hood. And her friends and family members, and the woman, Anna, is 20 years old, which is really sad. She's a 20-year-old soldier, and she was at Fort Hood, committed suicide. And they're saying that upon her arrival at Fort Hood, when she first was stationed there, she met a sergeant who helped her get acquainted for the first few months. Then she started making other friends on the base, and that same person became extremely territorial and jealous of her, referring to her by the nickname Basa. The friend said, as time passed, Basa began to make friends and all that. He was getting annoyed. He was jealous. He said things to her, and she didn't care. They're saying that things escalated from there, that the sergeant would unexpectedly come to her room, knock on her door, text her why she was hanging out with people, that she didn't have to hang out with anyone other than him. And then she apparently reported the sergeant to her platoon sergeant, telling him what was going on. They called that person who was harassing her to the office, and they said that officials on the base did not officially reprimand him outside of an argument that remained between them. And then they ended up actually transferring Anna to another platoon, and they're saying that even after that transfer, the same man started to continue to harass her. She said, quote, her friends are saying, quote, she told me that she did not know what else to do because she already told them. She had already told her sergeant. She had already told the commander. That's supposed to be why they made the complete change. But even so, he was still going through it. And this is what her friend was telling Telemundo. And then there's apparently another story about a totally different soldier that apparently tried to suffocate her just weeks before her death. There's all kinds of crazy shit going on. It's a really long and kind of complicated story, but according to her friends, they feel like her suicide is shady, right? And they said that she, quote, wanted to end her time well and leave it behind her and start a new life, right? And they're saying that she had plans to not renew her contract at Fort Hood and was preparing for a 2-week leave of absence to visit her father in Long Beach. Those who knew her, killing herself so close to the trip and her eventual release from Fort Hood seems incomprehensible. They're saying that, again, she had intentions to leave Fort Hood, and this whole thing just seems shady to them. And this is all on weareme2.com. I'm kind of summarizing a very long article. And the last thing I'll say on Fort Hood, they're saying, according to a 2020 report from the Pentagon, the Fort Hood Independent Review Committee identified an ineffective implementation of the sexual harassment/assault response and prevention program that resulted in a pervasive lack of confidence, fear of retaliation, and significant underreporting of cases, particularly within the enlisted ranks. They also categorized Fort Hood as having a, quote, deficient climate. All right, so I just threw a lot at you with that one. But it's scary because this was such a high-profile case with Vanessa Guillen, right? And, you know, they're supposed to be under watch. They're supposed to have learned their lesson from this that happened to Vanessa Guillen in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. And now here we are, another soldier in a similar situation, and the person harassing her is not being held to any sort of real accountability, right? They're not being suspended. They're not being, kicked off of the base. She's the one who ends up getting moved to a different platoon. It's sad, and it just shows more and more of the same. And of course, she's a Latin woman, 20 years old. And it just seems like they don't give a shit. Even with all the eyes on them, they didn't give a shit enough to, take this as seriously as they should have.
Yeah, that was that was a lot. Um,
Yeah.
and first and foremost, I just fucking feel like definitely sorry for that family. Like sorry that you lost a loved one before you had to, and in a way that you probably are gonna have some time getting closure with.
Yeah.
Um, so fuck. So first that, and just second, like I don't even know what to. This is the hard part, and this is why I don't watch like news and don't keep up. And I had seen it, and I knew that
Yeah.
eventually I was gonna have to face it with you because that's I tell you sometimes
Right.
I'm like I don't want to listen when something horrible happens because I know he's gonna talk about
Right.
it, but I do need to talk about it. So again, thank
Right.
you. Before you know how like kind of they have like the defund the police, but like I'm not saying
Yeah.
defund the whole branch or whatever, but that what is it camp like
Yeah, it's a base.
a base like
Mm-hmm.
what else needs to be happening? Like how do you fix this? Like, I just, it leaves me with way more questions than answers for sure. Because as a woman, and I know a lot of Latinas that have been in the military, and my
Yeah.
husband who was in the military says the same thing. Like, I would never want my daughter to be in the military. It's like these people are all doing this to like serve their country, and this
Right.
is what they get in return. That's
Yeah.
really fucked up.
Yeah, and it's like it's hard not to be a pessimist because to me, it all eyes are on you at that point, right? Like you are the notorious base that everybody knows, regardless if you are in the military or not, because a horrendous thing happened under your watch, right? And it's been proven that there was so much negligence, for this poor woman in Vanessa Guillen. And if that's not enough motivation for you to take any case of sexual harassment seriously, I don't know what else would be. At that point, it's literally like you just don't give a fuck, right? Because, you're never going to be able to correct what's in people's hearts at the end of the day, right? And that's what makes things like racism so difficult because you can't expect to change the heart of a racist, right? The best we can do is create practices that hold them accountable for their actions. And that ends up being the thing that stops people from doing stupid shit, essentially, right? But with this one, it's like, you guys know all the bad press you got. Like anybody with half a brain, the second this was reported would have been like, we need to make like a really strong stance on this so that everybody knows we no longer tolerate this type of behavior. That what happened with, Vanessa Guillen was a one-off thing. But instead, like
Because
they said, even after
he
Yeah, go
hasn't
ahead.
been, so the guy never got in trouble.
Yeah, that he never got officially reprimanded.
Even till
right?
now, like he hasn't been like questioned, detained, nothing. Like,
Well, I don't know what the follow-up is now because the speculation of it not being a suicide is coming from her friends and family. But what they're saying is that the officials on the base, when she reported him, never officially reprimanded him, like never actually put something on his record, never sort of gave him some sort of probation or whatever, like suspended him or anything like that. That it seems like there was some sort of like verbal argument that happened in private, but nothing officially on the record. And again, like, why wouldn't you want to make an example of this person after such a public, a terrible public thing that happened that puts a stain on not only your base but the military as a whole? And it again, it just seems like people don't give a shit, and I don't know what else to say about that because at that point, all you can really do is call for the firing of anybody who is in a sort of a position of power at that base at this point, right? And there needs to be further mandates and rules, and like I guess the only thing you can do is if you create some sort of mandatory like independent review that has to happen anytime somebody reports some sort of sexual harassment, right? And it can't be internally handled. It automatically doesn't matter, how serious they're taking the case or not, automatically gets given out to somebody who's like an independent review for that. That's the only thing you could do because left to their own devices, it's very obvious that these people don't give a shit about what's happening to the women on these bases. It's normalized for whatever reason.
Yeah, I fucking can't believe that nothing has happened with the guy, that nothing has happened to the higher ups at this point. I know it was just barely a couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The story is relatively new, but yeah, and even the fact that it happened this last week where the story was really breaking, but that the fact that apparently there was another soldier allegedly that like actually physically assaulted her, like it just shows you a pattern of like normalcy of this type of thing just being okay on this base, right? That people feel so comfortable doing weird shit like this. It really is scary. And to your point, like if I had a daughter, I would never want her to be in the military. It just seems like the worst place on earth for a woman because they're not being protected by the people who are supposed to be in charge over there. It's really sad.
Yeah. And that's where I know so many women that are in the military or have been, right? And at the same time, it's just like, if these little girls are having dreams of doing that, we can't also tell them no because you can't be safe. So it does have to change from the inside, because that's my thing. Like I understood my husband from his fatherly perspective, but at the same time, I was like, but if that's what she feels is her purpose, how can we ever tell her no, to like whatever she wants to do? So at that point, I do think it is like, maybe if these, I don't know if these higher ups are men or women or even a person of color, but maybe you really need to start putting these people in those positions because they will be knowing what to look out for versus someone who maybe didn't experience it or doesn't understand. Like you can never expect a 40-something-year-old white man to understand what a 20-year-old brown girl from Long Beach is telling him.
Sure.
They probably honestly, one part of me feels like it's not that they don't give a shit. It's that they don't fully understand the situation. They don't.
Yeah.
How could we ever expect them to understand what probably like a first generation girl from Long Beach it's like in the military for her. So they probably think, and the other guy, if they talk to them, probably is like, she's just being crazy. Again, that toxic shit. Oh, she's just, she thinks that, They downplay it because that's what some narcissists do. And there's probably some narcissist ass dudes and they're like, come on, sir. You know what, you know?
Right. Well, even outside the military, that is common practice for women who report sexual assault or rape. Oftentimes they're not believed or the police don't do anything. And
so
I think like practice.
In my ways, it's like put these women with this representation in those positions to be able to start handling it and like telling you what you aren't hearing or what you're not seeing because you don't have the lived experience. Because I think that might be the only way. Because even if this base, now that I think about it, even if this base were to get, taken down, whatever, and like closed, it's just going to happen at another one and another.
Right.
It probably is. And it will, so I think the thing is like, get the people that can understand these minorities to know that it's a serious thing, because if this girl was reporting, you can, question and see, and then move the guy to another base or something, like they would know how to take it more serious, I think. So, get the people that understand the struggle and can see it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point as well. There needs to be women in those positions of power who can empathize, with those situations. And to your point, you're right. It's not fair for us to be like, if I had a daughter, I don't want her joining the military, right? Because it's the obvious thing is, men should just stop being assholes and stop being, rapists essentially, right? And assaulting women and viewing themselves as rightful to do that. That should be the right answer. But it's like it's tough because that's what's right. But then we also have to exist in the real world, which is the unfortunate part as well, right? It's like anything, even outside of the military, where if you have a daughter or someone you care about and you're like, listen, be careful, leaving the club at a certain time or with your drinks or things like that. Be mindful. And it's shitty that we have to teach those lessons because the obvious, we should be teaching our boys to do better, but you have to exist in like this, it's in this weird middle ground where you're putting this unfair burden on women where they have to be so mindful of everything that is happening around them. And I'd imagine as a woman that's just, it's got to be a really heavy burden to sort of bear to a degree, right? And so many things, to your point, like as a man, I can't even empathize with fully because I don't know what it's like to kind of have to live with that in the back of my mind where like, even in the simplest form of going out to get a drink with somebody, I have to be very, conscious of my safety and who this person may or may not be.
Yep. And that's exactly it. It's exactly it. Disney, I'm going to add this of that. Disney released this little short film and it had a woman in a workplace. And I think it was a silent just cartoon. And I was watching it and I was just catching a glimpse of it. And then I was like, wow, that's what it's like to be at work. And my husband was like, what? And he's like, that is what it's saying. But he's like, I guess I never thought of it that way. And I'm like, as a woman in a male dominant environment, and most of the time you are, whether it's in school or, in work or careers, especially depending what career you go into.
Right.
And you do have to like get tougher skin. You do have to be able to like not get offended by every single joke or else you're going to be miserable, So,
yeah.
And then with time and as maturity, you learn to dish it back into like,
right.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that's where my head is going to on what that base could possibly start to implement and radically change out. I think it sounds like they need a washout. They need a completely that management. Like it needs to be transferred.
Yeah.
Something needs to happen. So that's my take. And again, just so sorry for the family because I have 2 daughters. And if one ever wanted to join the military, I would probably support her. And if something like this ever happened to her, I would want to be ripping this place from the inside out because I'm a mom.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And 20 years old, man, it's terrible. We'll kind of see what happens as it develops, but regardless of if it was a suicide or not, the harassment shouldn't have happened, right? She should have had that experience regardless. So we'll kind of see as it plays out. So obviously that was a really, really heavy story. And as we always like to do is bring it back around to something positive that somebody from our community is doing. Today, we'll be talking about something that you are putting on that is amazing. We'll do that for our Mi Gente segment. Mi Gente. All right, so for today's Mi Gente segment, I want to talk about the person we have here on the show, Bren J. You are stepping into your boss shit right now, and you are getting ready to put on an event next month. And I wanted to showcase that because I know it's a huge moment for you and your cause is speaking to people from our community, specifically women of color. So, I mean, talk to me about this event that you're putting on, the goals and all that stuff that you have with it.
Yeah, no, thank you for this opportunity because I know that I have to go out here and tell people about it so that people know to go. And I've just kind of been avoiding because this is what happens in life. We try something new. It's fucking scary. And you're like, oh, but I get coached through it and I have an amazing coach and I've met because of coaching and through other organizations. I've been able to really network with a bunch of amazing Latinas and see like, oh shit, we can heal as a collective and really grow. And so part of me deciding to do this was like, I just needed to decide that shit. I needed to decide to step into my boss shit. I needed to decide to just be like, I'm not going to wait till something's perfect to get it done, to get it out there, So out of that came Decide That Shit Summit because I feel like a lot of times we get really stuck on the like, what if this or what if that? And at the end of it, you just need to like really decide that shit because you're never going to even know if you're going right or wrong until you decide. And if you decided one way and it was fucking wrong, you take accountability for that, reshape and go again, right? And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really hard, but you just have to decide something, right? So it's for everything.
Yeah.
So I looked out for 3 speakers that I know have lived some shit, have had some experiences, have made big decisions, and that I know are gonna like help change. It's gonna turn the light bulb on for somebody. I don't know who, but for
Sure.
somebody, right? And I specifically did this with the intention of really helping millennial Latinas without college degrees, because that's like those are my people right there. Like I like went to college, university for a year, and then I was like, this isn't for me, and I like fucked up on one class, and I was like, whatever. I had my situation going on in LA, so
Yeah.
I left, and this shit haunted me for a long ass time, like up until recently, up until this last year, like I really, the thought that I needed a degree to be successful or for anyone to take me serious really weighed on me. It really weighed on me. It kept me low. It kept me like not showing up my 100%, like it kept me playing small. There you go, playing small.
Yeah.
Even though in every position I've had in another job, like I've been able to always climb to the top, always. And not to the top in like an ego bad way, but no, like I was 19 working at Rent-A-Center. I was using hand trucks, delivering shit, repoing shit, doing all of that, right?
Yeah.
Moved up to supervising because I'm bilingual too. That always helped me. And
Sure.
I got into the casino industry. I started as a dealer, went up to management, got trained to, know that how to run that department. And then was like, I learned about life coaching, and then everything else kind of was like, nope, right? So I had to decide that shit on stepping into this. And so there's going to be, the first speaker is going to be Leanne from Watch Us Thrive. So she has her experience of surviving domestic violence. And she's a Puerto Rican from New Jersey. So shout out to her. That's the home girl.
Yeah.
She's going to be talking of her biggest decision. We're going to have Blue Nile, who her company is rooted in power healing. And she also from the East Coast. I think she's from New York, and she's now over here in Los Angeles. But she was in the music industry. I think she said like she's toured with like Ja Rule and somebody else. She's very much in the industry, right? And she talks about like her sobriety and her spirituality, right? So she had some decisions. And then we also have Esperanza LeBron, who is my coach, who helps me work on all this mindset stuff, because like I just told you guys, my thought used to be like, I need a college degree to be successful or for somebody to take me serious, and that was just a thought. Like, it's just a thought, and I have the power to change that. And she taught me that, so now that I'm like, I just need to use my voice and tell my story and to show up intentionally, and that has like shifted everything, right? So she will be speaking there, and she's Esperanza LeBron, who you have on from Tuesdays.
Yeah, last podcast.
Right, the last episode. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. Because she has, and even then, I've known her for 2 years, and that episode, like, I learned even more about her that I didn't know. Coaches are whole people. We have whole life stories. We're here to support you, but we also have whole life stories where we can show you like the hard decisions I had to make in life to get from where I was to where I am now. And even in real time, showing you the decisions we're making now. Like today, I told you I put on makeup to show up to here, and I usually don't because I have 2 kids, and I'm like, doing all kinds of shit. But I was like, no, why do I put on makeup to go represent another place that I work for? And I try and show up as my best self, and I'm not showing up as my best self for this conversation where I want people to like come and like learn something and take something away and grow, So that's the Decide That Shit Summit, and it's happening April 22nd. We have people in 3 time zones for this. And I think so it's 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be virtual.
I was gonna say virtual. How can people hop on and get the link?
I will have the link by Saturday the 25th. Hold me accountable for that. It's going to be a webinar style thing, so it's just a Zoom link. You won't have to be on camera. You don't have to worry about like muting or unmuting, and that's why I wanted to do it this style, because I want, if there's moms doing mom shit or dads doing dad shit, I don't want you to like accidentally hit the button and like, you hear something going on. Like, because these
Yeah.
stories that are going to be told are going to be life changing. And I want to honor that and value that. But I'll still record it. So if you don't happen to make it on, I will email you the recording as well. So yeah, that's the
Love
Decide
it.
the Shit Summit.
Congrats. Well, I'm really proud of you for putting yourself out there and making these moves. I know that's huge for you. And it's always good with having that kind of intention behind it to help people. It's always a positive, you know. So where can people follow you and keep up with all that you got going on and check this whole thing out?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Bren J Life Coaching. So that's BRENJ Life Coaching. And then you could also check out that website, brenjlifecoaching.com. And I just started a TikTok, and it's at
Okay.
Toxica and Recovery. I haven't posted
Nice.
anything yet. I haven't, like, you guys over here checking out the things. This is very new to me. I'm very late to the TikTok trend.
Yeah.
But so keep an eye out for that. That's at Toxica and Recovery. And you could also listen to the podcast, and find out ways to work with me, through Toxica and Recovery, and you can find that on Apple, Spotify. Yeah. DM me on Instagram. That's the fastest way to get an answer, a question answered by me, though.
Love it. Well, I appreciate you. And obviously we'll keep talking. You're a part of the family.
Thank you.
Man, big shout out to my guest this week, Bren J, the homie. Check out all the amazing work that she is doing. And then with that said, I want to quickly get y'all's take on one of these stories. We'll do that in our Ask a Gringo segment.
Ask a Gringo.
I have a question.
All right, so for today's Ask a Gringo segment, I wanted y'all to just dish a little bit on any toxic relationship that you've had. If you've been the toxic one, the other person has been the toxic one. I'm just going to go through one here because I got a few long answers. So I'm going to go through one here because I know we're running a little bit long on the show. Let's see. At Maritza.m04 says, I cheated on first BF. I was very naive and stupid. Also had no sense about dating, having a lot of trauma. I got my karma later on in life. Man, so you were the cheater. You were the toxic one in that relationship. I think we've all been toxic at some point in our lives. I've never cheated on a partner before, but I know definitely when I'm in that talking phase, like when I've been in that talking phase in the past, like I would drag that phase out. You know, like the phase where like the other person's kind of like, what are we? And I would just avoid that line of questioning like it was the plague. And I would be like, using the fact that we didn't have an official title as like free reign to just be out in these streets. And that was, I think, my toxic trait back in the day when I was younger. But listen, I think like Brandon and I were talking about, we all have some sort of fuck boy, fuck girl, fuck person attitude sometimes where we do things that maybe are not in line with who we are as a person, who we want to see ourselves as. And I think that's a part of growing up and growing as a human being and evolving. And, there are things that we learn and we become better human beings as a result, I think the first step is obviously recognizing those traits, where they're coming from, where is that insecurity coming from, where is that jealousy, whatever it might be, whatever your toxic trait is, and just sort of, getting to the kind of, man, the root of that, if you will, and making sense of it so you can be healthier in future relationships or the current one that you're in now. So, man, thank y'all for participating at DJ Dramos on Instagram for being a part of these conversations. And now let's quickly summarize everything we talked about today. We'll tie it in a neat little bow in a segment we call Conclusion Stew.
Time for conclusion stew.
All right, so we talked a lot about Bad Bunny today. His ex suing him for $40 million for some unauthorized use of her voice. I mean, nobody knew it was her probably until this lawsuit happened. She's trying to get that check. Hey, I don't think she deserves it, but more money, more power to her. 40 million, that's nothing for Bad Bunny at this point. Let's see. And Bad Bunny throwing shade at Devin Booker it's obviously unnecessary. It's toxic. We talked all about that. But also for anybody who's like a rapper and artist like that, it is a clever kind of line. And it's like a funny thing he probably knew people would talk about. So I wouldn't read too deep into it. Obviously, it seems like apparently from the reports, she's pissed, but also who knows what the fuck is going on in the Kardashian world of what's real, what's not real. I don't know anymore. I thought it was more interesting to discuss toxic relationships as a whole and growing from that. And man, this terrible story out of Fort Hood once again. You had Anna Basaldua, who allegedly committed suicide after reporting harassment on the base. Again, this is the same base that Vanessa Guillen reported harassment before she ultimately was murdered. And it's just awful. There needs to be, from the ground up, they have to just like really rework this entire system and the people that are in charge, because obviously they didn't learn anything from the Vanessa Guillen situation. The fact that this person who was accused of harassment was not formally reprimanded, was not moved to a completely different area. Instead, they removed the victim to another area. It's just a lack of empathy, a lack of knowledge, maybe a lack of caring, whatever it might be. But there needs to be, I think, outside investigators doing these cases when somebody reports harassment. Like Brenda was saying, there needs to be, women and women of color in these positions as being able to, as being people who can empathize with the situation and handle it properly. Hopefully, they just need to do better. This is our military. These are people who are risking their lives for us, and they didn't sign up to be harassed on a military base. It makes no sense, and it's really sad. And then big shout out to Brenda for, man, she's taking gigantic strides hosting her first ever summit. That type of shit is not easy. It's scary to put yourself out there and hope that people are going to come and to build something. So big shout out to her. She's taking a risk on there. I'm really proud of her. Let me see. I want to get the right name here. Decide That Shit Summit. She has 3 amazing guests lined up, one of which was on the show recently, Esperanza Lebrun, who obviously was incredible. So definitely this is going to be a really cool kind of free little webinar that she's doing at Bren J Life Coaching. You want to check that out and see more. But definitely proud of her, living out her dream, doing what she wants to do and being unafraid to do it. That's what it's all about. Now, with that said, thank y'all so much for tuning in. My book, Just Be, it's officially out. Mailing copies as they come in. I'm signing all that good stuff. JustBe.nyc. You want to pick that up. Street Stoic Podcast. Man, we had our season finale. It'll be tomorrow, actually, Friday. So, man, go check that out if you haven't yet. I'm really proud of that podcast. It went by really quick this first season. But yeah, that's it. I'll catch y'all on Tuesday with a brand new episode. Till then, stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.